Hey everyone, welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 208, entitled Steve in Smash, because I am in Smash. Yeah, that's right, I am in Smash. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Yeah, of course, my name is Steve, but I am not here alone. I am also joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how is it going, man?
It's going well, and yeah, I'm really excited, but I'll tell you, I've had you in Smash since Smash 4. I've made the me of you, and I've beaten the crap out of you consistently. So
are you serious?
It's really no big deal. No, I'm just
okay. It's like that's kind of endearing and also kind of scary at the same time. Greg, do you happen to have a me of me as well?
Well, yeah, remember I got you from the Street Pass?
Oh, right. So you've just been using my Street Pass. Remember when Street Pass was a thing? Back when there were simpler times before, 2020 and all that. But thank you guys so much for being here for another episode of the NintendoFuse Podcast. Like I said, this is episode 208. We're going to talk a lot about Steve from Minecraft being in Smash. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. But before we get into that, I want to just remind you guys to follow us on social media. If you have not done so yet, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whichever one you prefer. We're just at NintendoFuse. And then you can also join our Discord. We would love to have you guys join our Discord. The link is on the screen, but it's also in the notes, the description there on YouTube, but also the podcast show notes as well. So we'd love for you guys to join us and just keep that conversation going between the episodes. We just love talking with you guys and keeping that going. So before we get into anything Nintendo game related, news related, any of that tonight, we have a big announcement to make. One of the probably biggest changes in the NintendoFuse podcast in recent years. And if you guys have been with us over the 11th years that we've been doing this, you know that the podcast has evolved and changed and all those sort of things. And we talked a little bit about that last episode as we celebrated our 11th anniversary. And as we start our 12th year of doing this podcast, it's time to try out a new change. So starting tonight, we are going back. That's right, back to a weekly show. So we're heading back to a weekly show. So you can find us every Tuesday night, starting tonight, continuing next Tuesday and the Tuesdays following that. We'll, of course, take some breaks here and there for holidays, and there may be some times where just things happen and we can't get together or whatever to do this. But for the most part, every Tuesday, you can find us right here on our YouTube channel and watch us live, join the chat, and all that sort of thing, dropping in your subscription box for your podcast apps as well. But with that change, we are also going to a shorter show. So that's one of the things that we decided, hey, instead of going for an hour and a half, 2 hours every couple weeks, and sometimes you guys, like we felt this last time, right? Barry and I were talking about like some of the news, and I think Greg, you mentioned it as well, is like some of the news that we're covering was like 2 weeks ago, and we're like, oh yeah, that happened. What were my thoughts about that at the time and everything? So now being able to do this weekly, we're going to be able to stay more on top of things. But we also did want to cut it down to a shorter show because we know some of you guys, especially that there's less travel and things like that during COVID times, maybe less time to actually listen to podcasts. So we'll be here every week with approximately 45 minutes to an hour of a show. And we're excited about that. Greg, Barry, you guys got anything to say about these changes?
I'm happy just because it means we get to meet together more and talk more. And we'll see about keeping it to a shorter show, hopefully with less news build up, over a span of 2 weeks as opposed to 1 week. We should be able to do that, but who knows? I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep, that's just very exciting to be back, just to be talking games every while, and we won't be waiting for there was a direct right after the last podcast, and then there's also all these other things that came up right after that. And it's like, well, we can't talk about everything because direct is at least a good 45-minute discussion on its own. So
yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, well.
That is the downside, though. We can't say our podcast predicts it anymore because then it's like, oh, it's every week. So.
Well, we can say it. It would just, it's easier to predict it now. But yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be some different changes, and we'll try out some different things as well. And here's the deal: we would love to know your thoughts about this. You guys are the listeners. We enjoy getting together and just talking about games. But the other reason we do this is because of you. And so let us know your thoughts as we make some changes and try some new things out along the way. That also means we'll have steady content every week on our YouTube channel as well. So if you haven't subscribed yet, haven't hit that bell, be sure to do that. But let's get going because we're trying to go for a shorter show. So let's get going. What have you guys been up to? What have you been playing? Barry, let's go to you first.
Oh, boy. So it's been a little bit of a busy 2 weeks for me. On the Switch, I'm still doing Animal Crossing. The Halloween event started. So I've been getting all the spooky recipes. And I finally collected all my songs because I leveled up, so I was able to finally get the birthday song, which was the one that I was missing. You can't get that outside of that day. So done with KK, and I've been playing a little Super Mario 35 still. I'm noticing it's getting a little tougher to win, but at the same time, it's also getting a little boring because it's usually the same few levels over and over and over again. And I'm trying to unlock the later levels, and it's going at a snail's pace. So I'm like, all right, so do like the daily stuff, and that's about it. I did do I know we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but I did do the Pikmin 3 demo that launched. Completed the demo. It's my favorite type of demo where the save data does go over. So if you are thinking about getting the game, definitely give the demo a shot. And then going back to one of my previous marathons, which was my Mario Marathon, I decided to I did 64 and I did Sunshine. Now I went back to Galaxy, and I really went back to it yesterday. And I'm tried to finish before the podcast. I got to 100 stars before the podcast, so I'm close. I'm like, no, but so it's a lot of fun going back. It definitely frustrating the motion controls using the gyro, but still a blast. Still a great game. Having a lot of fun. On the PS4, last time I talked, I started 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I finished that game. That game is something else. It is a very special game. It is a very unique game. And for anyone that enjoys time travel type stories with interlocking characters and, it's just a lot of mystery. That is a game I recommend. The strategy parts were my weakest parts to it. In fact, when you beat the game, it unlocks a whole 10 new strategy missions you could do, and I'm just like, I don't care. And I actually platinumed the game. I accidentally platinumed the game. It is an easy platinum. You play the game and you practically platinum the game. So I was like, okay, that's a nice bonus. But then I moved on to the game I was supposed to play instead of 13 Sentinels, but I'm like, I'm going to just do 13 Sentinels. And that was Star Ocean, Integrity, and Faithlessness. I'm a big Star Ocean fan. This game got terrible reviews. I put it off. I finally decided to go to it. I started the game, and I'm like, both my wife and I just looked at it like, is this PS2? This is a PS4 game. It looks rough at the start. It does get better. The combat is what sucked me in. The story is on the weakest aspect of a Star Ocean game. In fact, it has very little to do with the whole Star Ocean, which, if you've never played the series, it's a space RPG, and it's very much grounded in more fantasy. Very weird, but I did enjoy it. I played through it. I did not do post-game stuff, but I did have a lot of fun. I then moved on to Star Wars Squadrons, which just came out. And I've only done 2 missions because I have to play that in bursts because there's only a cockpit view. You cannot do third person. Ooh. So it is designed for VR. So in the cockpit, it's great, but after a mission, my head is spinning and my vertigo's kicking in because the right analog stick, it moves you where you want to go, left, right, up, down. The left analog stick instead up thrusts, down, gives brake, and left and right rolls you. So a lot of times when I'm trying to go left, I'm spinning and rolling because I'm used to using the left analog stick for that. And I'm just like, whoa, hold on here. This is starting to make me go crazy. I didn't see if I can change that. I don't know if I can. but it just feels weird because I'm used to the right stick being the camera, and it just yeah. But it's fun. Like it's very well crafted. It's a lot of fun, and if you don't get motion sick and you want to feel what it's like to be a pilot in the Star Wars universe, so far this game really delivers, and I've heard it's excellent in VR. PC, I'm still doing Final Fantasy 14. In fact, a big update came out today with a lot more content that I need to grind. However, I didn't touch it yet because of Galaxy. I wanted to finish that. And on mobile, I'm still doing Mario Kart Tour. Still having a lot of fun. They're doing the anniversary tour now. A lot of freebies. Finally, they're giving out. But in Dragalia, I'm playing more and more every day. Thanks to all these free summons, I've been able to get some stuff I've been hurting on, and I'm able to clear content that was like gated me, and now I could just auto stuff. So now I'm sitting here farming. It's like I'm just having fun now, increasing my strength and doing the new events. They just did like the new raid event that was for the anniversary, and a lot of fun. So I have not had a lot of non-gaming time. Every free moment this past 2 weeks, I've tried my best to fit in gaming stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Let's go to the chat real quick. Jakester says that he's been playing the Rocket League for the Fortnite event specifically, and then Genshin Impact and the usual FGO as well. But yeah, Greg, what have you been up to the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I got a nice long list of games as well, but not nearly as probably packed as Barry, trying to squeeze every minute in there because I don't have that kind of time to be able to do it all day every day. So yeah, just still going on with Animal Crossing, and actually pretty similar to Barry. I have one song left, and I wanted to request the last one. I could have had like my wife get the last one and her send me the last one, but I wanted to actually request the last one that I'm missing at this upcoming show on this Saturday. So yeah, I have one song left. It's like the KK Lullaby, I think, is the last one that I haven't tackled down yet. Just continuing on getting all the new recipes for the Halloween event, purchasing the items in Nook's Cranny as usual, and mining for gold from the rocks. So it's pretty much daily stuff there. Lots of Super Mario Brothers 35. I got really involved in there. I got really was like looking up like tips and tricks and stuff like that, and been doing really good. Got a number of first place victories. Also continue on with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with my daughter. She absolutely loves the Mario Kart. We have to now limit it to just the weekends to play it now because she's so involved in it. And that's also led to still continuing Double Dash. So we're still playing that on GameCube in the office when the missus wants to play Animal Crossing. Then she even was willing to try the original Super Mario Kart just to see where it all started.
Yeah.
So it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
interesting because we did like the original Mushroom Cup, and she was actually doing like getting like second and third place on 50cc. So seems like it's working. Like she's
You got a prodigy on your hands.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yep, and then also on GameCube was Mario Power Tennis. She still loves that one, so we still play a couple things there. We unlocked like a coin game that she's been really obsessed with, like a Coin Chasers or something in one of the party game modes. Also with her video, she's been watching a lot of Mario Party videos, so we finally dabbled into Mario Party 9 on Wii, so she's picking up motion control technology. She still has a little trouble with some of those games, but she's slowly gathering right there. A few other retro titles we were diving into was the original Super Mario Brothers, because she was watching me play Super Mario Brothers 35, so we were practicing a little bit on the NES app on Switch, and also Super Mario Brothers 3. And then finally, she saw like a screenshot when I completed Mario 64, so then she wanted to dabble a little bit with Mario 64 as well. So.
Wow, she does not want to stop. She's just going from one game to another.
She's got to play a lot of catch up.
Yeah, she's got lots of games on her backlog too. So. And then pretty much like an hour right before this podcast, she wanted to play a bit more Paper Mario Origami King. So we were on the rubber band boss on her profile, and he took us out when we had him down to 1 HP, and then so we got to redo that later. So
that stings.
Nice.
Yeah, because he had like the super mega attack when he like stretches out and does like 100 some damage to you or something like that. And I was like, oh, game over with 1 HP left. Yeah, that's fantastic. Good job. Now I got to spend another like 20 minutes in the battle. And then finally, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes. It's still awesome to be still playing that 3 years later. So still going strong there.
Cool.
That's pretty much all I had this time.
Nice. Yeah, this is an unusual week for me because I've actually have a pretty long list as well. And it includes, of course, Animal Crossing and Rocket League. It's been fun to get back into Rocket League, and I've actually been playing it now that it has cross-platform saves and progression. It's actually back on my PS4 a little bit more and tried out streaming the other day from it. I love the fact that both Xbox and PS4 have streaming built into it, and I really wish that Nintendo did that on future stuff because it makes it just that much easier. So I'll probably be doing that a little bit more kind of on my own Twitch channel or something like that, just kind of dabbling into stuff like that. But it's been a blast just having more players in Rocket League recently because of free to play. So that's been really cool. And then I finally did get to Evergate. It's a game that I think the last 2, if not 3 podcasts I've said that I wanted to get into. It was an indie game that was shown off on one of those indie showcase things or one of the direct minis or something like that. But it's a platforming game, and I honestly kind of forgotten what the game was all about by the time I played it because it had been so long. But I downloaded and I was like, okay, I'm going to actually check this out. And it is a challenging game. The challenge comes because it's platforming, but you have to like do everything timed just almost perfectly. There's like the further you progress, the little room for play that you really have in there. And so it's about like jumping up, but then also shooting this little ray gun thing at a certain spot at just the right time, and then hitting another button to bounce over, and then hit another one and so that's the levels are kind of like puzzle like, but they're also very action oriented, so it's puzzle action. So if that is interesting to you, if you want a good challenge in a platforming game, and something where you have to think quickly, kind of analyze the overall look of it, but then go after it, that's Evergates is really good. The music is fantastic. Which is really sad because it brings me to something that I recorded my first 45 minutes or an hour with it, and I was planning on posting it, and then I realized that so if you're trying to record gameplay into your computer and you plug your headphones into the switch directly, the audio does not go into your computer anymore. So you would have just got a blank screen, or not a blank screen, but a very colorful screen, but no audio if I would have posted it. So it's really unfortunate that I lost all the audio for the game, but I really enjoyed it. So that was good. And then played around with the trials. So we talked about R-Type last podcast, I believe. And so I did play R-Type Dimensions, the EX trial, and that was really fun. Unfortunately, that it gave some allusions to more being in the game than it really was. I hate when trials do that. You think, oh, cool, I'll be able to do that. And I click on the 2-player mode, and it's like, nope, sorry, only in the full game. I'm like, dang it. But that was fun. It's cool because you can switch back and forth between like old school graphics and new school graphics. And then also played the Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. Had a demo out. Didn't realize that it had a demo, so I played that. And there's a lot of game in there for the demo. In fact, you play enough where it actually is really tempting to get the whole thing, and it was on sale. But I felt like I actually got enough of the game and experience where I was like, that was good, and I can move back on to other games that I've been playing. But it's a really fun game, and if you're still interested, try out both of those demos. And then played some of Super Mario Brothers 35 as well. Not nearly as much as you guys. I think Greg's probably got us beat on the amount of time spent with that game, but did definitely check it out for, I don't know, I think I probably only put 1 or 2 hours into it, so not a whole lot, but enough to get a pretty good thought and an opinion on it for sure. let's see what. I mean, there's like some stuff going on in the chat. I'm sitting here babbling away, and chat is blowing up here. Jake's, you're saying we should play together. Yes, we definitely should. We've been talking about that for a long time. It's time to make that happen, Jakester. So let's arrange a time to play some Rocket League together, for sure. Yeah, let's talk just a little bit more before we get into the news about Super Mario Brothers 35, because it's one of those games that all of us got some time with. Barry, what has it been like for you? How has Super Mario Brothers 35 been? Is it worth it? What's your experience been like?
Oh, 100%, it's worth it. I mean, if you already have Nintendo Switch Online, then you really should give it a try. I was surprised with how balanced the game was, with, you know, even how everyone starts with low time, and then you get time by killing enemies, but depending on how you kill the enemies, you get different amounts of time. I thought that was really cool. It plays really well, and it takes a little bit to get crazy. When it starts getting crazy, it gets crazy. Bowser's here, Hammer Brothers there. But it's also one of those things where, at least right now, it's hard for me to unlock. I've got all of World 1 and 2 unlocked. I've got half of World 3 and one world of World 4, and nothing of 5, 6, 7, or 8. And it's like, oh my god, like I'm in like the 50s now in rank or whatever, and I haven't even seen those stages. Like, come on, like I wanna do, like, I can only do 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1, like so many times before I'm like, oh my god, this is just boring. Especially because, like, what I've noticed is, like the first week, it was usually like the top 3 or 4 players would become a war of attrition, and now, like, I've played it for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, there's still 12 other people in here with me. Like, oh my god, this is starting to be like a 30-minute, gauntlet here, and it's just like, oh my god, well, all I'm doing is biding my time, and I'm sitting at 400 seconds, and I'm just running the same things over and over again. And it's not about rushing. It's a slow, methodic game too. Once you have the time, you may not necessarily want to rush through a level. You may want to just take it easy and hope someone else makes a careless mistake. And that's usually how I lost. Like, every loss I've had, it's just careless mistakes. After 15 minutes of doing the same levels, eventually you slip up, and it's just like, oh, I'm not doing another round. Like, I'm good, I'm done. Like, if I got all my daily stuff, great. If I didn't, I don't care. Especially because the rupees you could use to, like, start a stage, with a power up, and I never do that. I never find a need to do that, so I've been hoarding those rupees. There was like the special mode that was just out there. It was like a coin thing. That's gone. I got to do it like once or twice. Those seem to go by really quickly. Yeah, overall, I think it's a great game. It's a great package. Does it have longevity? I guess that really depends on how fast you can unlock things and how much you like playing 1-1 and 1-2 over again.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I experienced the same thing. Like, it just, like, the longer I play, the longer that the games last, and the longer that everybody else gets a whole lot better than I do with this thing. So I find myself the same thing with, like, Tetris 99. I'm like, how much do I want to sink into this? Like, is it worth, like, trying to get really, really good at this game and eventually, be one of the top players, or do I want to do something else instead? But it is a lot of fun for sure. Greg, what's your experience been like?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Like, I'm definitely willing to play throughout, like, the time that it's available. It does get very insane, especially since people are, like, at least some of the speedrunners, like Cosmic, is putting out some guides to help people do better, and, like, just like, oh, here's, like, locations of all the power-ups and different coin caches and stuff they can select, and even was able to determine, like, how the level system even works. So, like, when you pick that level in the beginning, that's enters into the pool, and then pretty much you need to have, like, a flag on all the earlier levels to get the next one to unlock it. So if, like, you're looking for 3-1 or whatever, then you need to beat 2-4, like, in the sequence. You have to assign that as your level, and then hopefully come across it during your playthrough. The main thing is on 1-2, if you take the pipe exit, you go to the next level in the sequence. If you go to the warp zone, you get presented with the second, third, and fourth level after that. So if you go into the far left pipe in the warp zone, you're skipping 3 levels essentially in that queue order. So even if there's multiple 1-2s or 1-1s or whatever, like if you still pick the one that's further back, you still take the ones before it out of the sequence. So it should help like get further along to the later levels if you're more speed running at least 1-2 in general. I mean, same that applies if you get hit 4-2 eventually. It would works the same way. If you take the normal exit, you just go to the next level that's in the queue, or you can go to the second, third, or fourth level in the queue.
Interesting.
From that one. So that's how you unlock the later levels. So like I eventually get to like 3-1, and I already have all the way up to like I think 3-4 I have to beat still. So I do have 4-3 I think that I beat that somebody had in the queue at one point, but was still haven't come across 4-2 or 4-4.
So do you actually see, say, like, I feel like even if other people have them like unlocked, I still see the same levels over and over because people are like, that's the ones people are voting for or whatever.
Yeah, so people obviously have the choice in the vote, and there's 35 voters. So obviously, if there's people that are still new to the game, they're still selecting 1-1 and 1-2 regardless. So there's people who are too lazy to switch it, or maybe they just like having another level they are really good at. Because obviously, as soon as you hit World 3, that's when you can really knock out a lot of people, especially with the special battles. When it starts on like 3-1, you'll see like a number of people, like 10 people fall out in that first like 10 seconds. So it's like...
Right, especially if someone sends a Bowser to someone else during 3-1 or 3-2.
Yeah, but everyone plays the same sequence of levels, and the faster you go through them, the quicker you can go through the order of the levels. And then usually I think the higher levels are more ranked in the back because it wants like all the players to have a chance. Like it puts all the 1-1 and 1-2 votes like up front. It probably kind of mixes them around, obviously. That's why you can still see it in different orders. But if you want to hit the later levels, you really want to hit 1-2 and go to the back, the farthest pipe from the entrance to the warp zone to really skip like 4 levels ahead.
Interesting. Yeah. I think it's...
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And then the really final part, like I had like a match, I think earlier this week. I got caught in what they call a Lakitu party, where the screen is just like, looks like Super Mario Maker. There's like 20 Lakitus on the screen at the same time, and they're just like all throwing spinies all over the place. And it's so out of control and crazy. And like if you don't have a star, you're pretty much dead.
Wow. I think it is cool how they've done where it's not just a speed run kind of game, because people have done a lot of the independent, versus kind of Mario games, and it's basically just who can get through the fastest. But it does force you to really slow down, hit the enemies, and depending on whether you hit them with the fire flower or you jump on their head or hit them with the star, it depends on how much extra time you get versus all those different things. It's actually kind of cool, which brings me to the question. Now that you guys have spent time with it, do you have any insight behind why Nintendo would make this only available for a short amount of time? Barry, any idea at all?
I have a feeling it's going to stick around, or it's going to change to like Super Mario 2 or Super Mario 3 or something like that. I don't see them honestly taking it away. I mean, they've done this before where they're like, something's going to go away, and then, you know what? I mean, especially in this year, it's added stuff. I mean, I can't imagine the servers being that expensive to keep up.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, Greg, any thoughts?
No idea. I mean, obviously, I know they want to celebrate the anniversary, but I think they really struck gold with this mode. I mean, it's so flawless that I've never seen any lag like in other games, like even Mario Maker or whatever. Like it's all very seamless and straightforward, and not like disconnection issues or anything like that. So, I mean, I easily can foresee them extending it and probably eventually offering like the package like they did with Tetris 99.
Yeah, I could almost see him go in that direction, actually. Like, say, hey, it's free for, all the Nintendo Online subscribers for this amount of time, but we're not taking it away. We're actually going to put it out, whether it's on the eShop or whether they actually make a physical edition of it. But, people can actually buy it and play it if they want to later. But this is kind of a timed exclusive sort of thing. Because I think even, we have seen, like you said, Barry, like they've changed their minds later. And I feel like they'll probably get enough uproar from people like, hey, don't take this away. We're really enjoying it. Leave it on there. There was an update recently, and already an update to the game, and we just covered it on our site. A few patches, so they fixed an issue where enemies would continue to appear within the current screen area without the player moving forward. So they fixed that. They also fixed an issue where certain player icons were not displaying correctly in the coin ranking, and also fixed other issues to enhance just the overall gameplay experience and everything. So they're already patching it, making it better. I've heard some people were trying to exploit the game here and there with different coin stuff and everything. So cool that they're enhancing it and fixing things already. But let's move on to some news. And the big story is that back on what was the date? October 1st. So just, what was that? 11, 12, 13 days ago. We finally got word that we have some Smash Brothers news waiting on that final character. They didn't deliver it in any of the directs. They didn't deliver any of that sort of thing. It was a special announcement. And lo and behold, the rumors are finally true. Minecraft is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in the form of Steve as the main character, of course. Alex and Zombie and Enderman is also in the game, as well as alternate costumes. But yeah, Steve is in Smash officially, and the 5 remaining characters are still out there. We don't really know who they are, or sorry, four left. But yeah. Steve is officially in there, and then we found out that Sakurai was doing a special event on that Saturday. So that was like a Thursday. Saturday he was like doing, or Wednesday or something like that. Anyhow, a couple days later he was doing an announcement and presentation about the character and kind of running through all that stuff. And so yeah, we have officially Steve and Alex from Minecraft coming actually today. In fact, as I'm looking at the time right now, it is 7:06 my time, Mountain Time. That means 6 minutes ago, Steve is in Smash. So we don't want you to, like, if you're watching live, don't wait till we're done. But you may want to start that update right away so you can actually get that character as soon as we finish the podcast. You can go back in there and play as Steve in Minecraft. But yeah, Minecraft World stage as well. We also still got some new Mii Fighter costumes that are going to be added in the form of Bomberman and some other characters as well. But that kind of confirms that Bomberman's not going to be an actual character, much to the chagrin of a lot of people, I'm sure. But yeah, and then one other thing before we kind of discuss this a little bit is that the developer, Mojang, actually had some things to say about Minecraft joining Smash, and he said that he actually said, is this really happening? Do your eyes play tricks on you? After pinching myself about 74 times, I can safely confirm that it hurt. And this is neither a dream nor an extremely related April Fool's joke. Minecraft will be joining the cast of the critically acclaimed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch. And yeah, it kind of goes on to just say how excited he is about bringing it. Even they were surprised that that Minecraft actually made its way into to Smash. So that's pretty exciting. And I'd love to just kind of get your guys' thoughts and see what you think about this actually finally happening. Minecraft's in Smash. So Greg, what are you thinking about this? Is it exciting for you?
Well, I've not actually played Minecraft, surprisingly, but it's definitely very interesting the way he made it work. Like, I definitely loved when Sakurai was presenting. I was like, oh, is there any way I can get Minecraft in there? And he's like, oh, no, probably not. But, oh, I just took up the challenge. I did it. Like, like he was, like, so, like, nonchalant. Like, it's like, so, I mean, it was incredible that he got to work, and it looks like he did a lot of justice, being able to, like, just build blocks over the stages and stuff like that, and it's able to get a number of moves and special moves for him to use, and it's definitely very interesting, like the way you have to like farm materials and all that kind of stuff. That seems like a major update. Like he was even saying, you have to go through like all the levels just to add like elements for him to farm out the element, like the different materials out of. So that's pretty much was quite an undertaking that him and his team went just to get this character to work. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the biggest thing that stood out to me too. Is this is not just a toss this character in there, match their moves, and move on. Like this is a special character to be able to connect so well to who those characters are in Minecraft, to like bring that element of Minecraft into Smash. Barry, is this a character that you're excited to check out?
I mean, I've never played Minecraft either. It's never interested me, and it makes sense. Like, I understand why they did this. It didn't excite me. It wasn't like, oh my god, yes. It was kind of like, next time, Rex. But I understood why. I understood the importance of why this had to be there. It's too big of a franchise. And I'm so happy for those that have been excited for Steve. Now, I did watch the Sakurai Presents, and the character looks like it could be a lot of fun. And I definitely plan to check it out. I've got the Fighter Pass, so absolutely. Will I main him? Probably not. But I think it'll be fun to just have him randomly in like CPU battles. Just sometimes they get pretty crazy, and they do things that, we even some humans don't. Because it's nice to see the level of detail that they continue with these DLC characters. Although I had a laugh when Sakurai was like, "This is impossible. Okay, I could do it." Like, you could tell he didn't really want to do it. Nintendo was like, "Let's make this happen," and he's like, "All right, I could do it." I also liked how he threw a little shade at the start. He's like, "I'm president of Sora. Sora's my company, and no, we're not hiring." Like, what? That's random, but that's Sakurai for you. But yeah, I'm excited to give him a try. I'll probably try him out tomorrow after I finish Galaxy, and yeah, it's great to see new characters. Now, when we're gonna see the next one, I'm hoping Game Awards, maybe we'll get a tease, because that was filmed in August, so who knows.
That's true, yeah, and I think that's a lot of it still depends on how much progress they're able to make during all the quarantine times and stuff like that as well. And I'm glad they're trying to adapt and change and things like that. But yeah, we have no idea how that's really going to impact them long term. I hope we don't have to wait till 2021 or beyond to get the rest of these characters. I feel like in a way, like, we could be getting the next console before these characters are done if they're not able to pick it up pretty quickly. Jakester's asking, am I the only one that's played Minecraft? Technically, yes, Jakester, you are the only one, at least from the podcast crew. However, I did remember I've played about 5 minutes of Minecraft, so I don't know if you can really count that, but I have technically played it for about 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm excited just because his name's Steve. Totally honest with you. I'm excited also to like play the different mechanics that are there. Like that's it's cool, but at the same time, like I typically find myself playing the characters that are more like easy to pick up and go, because if there's too much going on and I have to worry about changing out my weapons or the different crafting things and all that stuff, like, no, I'm probably gonna get hit and knocked off the stage by that point. Like, me trying to figure all that stuff out. I think the most complicated I've ever gotten is when I tried to main Pac-Man for a little bit. That was based on the different fruit that you can pull up or something. So I try to keep it pretty simple with the characters that I play as the most. But because his name's Steve, I'm gonna try to see how long I can be, just because that's cool to be able to play kind of as myself. Not really, but at least he has the same name.
I will say this: playing a character that you have no experience with the game, and then playing the actual game, and then going back to Smash, it's amazing how different of an opinion you can make on a character. Like, when Joker was announced, I was like, okay, whatever, and I played it, and I was like, all right, this is fine. But then I played Persona 5 Royal, and I beat it. And then I went back and rewatched the reveal trailer, and like suddenly I'm like, oh my god! Like the reveal trailer was like 100 times better. And then I played through and played on a Mementos, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I totally get this now. Like Joker has so much more weight to me now. So it is kind of interesting. And for those that never played Minecraft like ourselves, if you do play it, I would love to hear how you feel about Steve after the fact.
Absolutely,
it is quite different.
Yeah, for sure. If you're a Minecraft player, let us know what you think about how they've gone about putting him in the game. We'd love to hear that. Are you about to say something, Greg?
I mean, I did have the relatable story. I mean, that's how I started playing Fire Emblem. I saw Marth and Roy in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and like, hey, who are these guys? These are a Nintendo game, and it's in a Nintendo series. And then that's age of the internet. And like, oh, there's a series called Fire Emblem. Let's give Fire Emblem a shot. And then main one I got at the time was Awakening, because that's like was the next one in line that I was looking to try, and got super hooked into the series, and still playing Marth and like Lucina's like mains in Smash Brothers. So
nice. Yeah, I think that's so cool how Smash like really like it's a celebration of video games, right? But then like it's also been not just kind of a reunion of those characters coming together, but it's turned a lot of us on to different properties because we've had that experience in Smash. So it goes both ways, which is really awesome to think about.
Yeah, now I can say that like, oh, I played Villager in Smash, and then now I got Animal Crossing.
There you go. There you go. And now you know why he does certain things in Smash.
So I'm working my way up to the DLC, so there's still lots of games to check out.
Yeah, for sure. Before we move on, Jakester brings this up, and I want to talk about the Mii costumes just a little bit. Travis, Touchdown, and Bomberman, two characters that a lot of people were really wanting as characters in the game because they're Mii costumes. What do you guys think about that happening? Is that really bum you out because like there goes their chance of being DLC characters, or is this something that's just whatever you're hoping for different characters, so no, it was no big deal? What do you think, Barry?
Travis, no big deal for me just because I wasn't pulling for him currently. I'm happy he's in the game, and obviously that doesn't mean he can't be in the next one. Bomberman, Bomberman was my vote when we did the Smash poll for Smash 4. That was actually my vote. And I'm happy he's a costume. I never expected him to be a fighter once they showed him as an assist trophy, because no fighter also has just been an assist trophy in the same game. It's always been the next game. However, I'm still pulling for Rex, even though there's a costume for him, simply because it was a consolation gift costume and not in the same paid DLC kind of way. So I don't. And there are fighters that also have costumes too. Like there's a Link costume.
That's true.
And Link is a fighter, and I think there's a couple others that they have costumes for, and so it's one of those where I don't think costume doesn't negate a fighter like Assist Trophy does, and Spirit definitely doesn't. We know that for a fact. So I guess we'll see, but I'm happy to see Bomberman at least there in some capacity, and I'm hoping Smash 6 that we get more. I really hope they don't flush this roster. I hope they keep, especially at least the Nintendo stuff. If they can't keep a third-party character here or there due to rights, I understand, but I hope they don't flush any Nintendo characters. Add on to it and then add in more third-party, and I'm hoping to see Bomberman in Smash 6. Because there's no reason to flush. You already have a balanced game of 80 fighters. Let's just add to the pile.
120 in the next one.
Let's do it.
Oh man, I was actually just talking to a friend earlier today, and I was like, I don't even know. They just keep porting this version. I think they kind of almost perfected it. Just port it over, add more characters, people will be happy. Or modes. Yeah, that's true. They're still missing some modes. Greg, what do you think about the Mii costumes and any other announcements that went along with this?
Yeah, definitely was kind of excited to see Bomberman as a costume, but also kind of disheartening because I really did want him as a fighter. But as Barry was saying, it's once you're assist trophy, always assist trophy. So
Nice.
I know there's people that still want like Waluigi, but he's still assist trophy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends of how much Nintendo cares about everyone crying that he's not in the game. But
That's true. Well, let's move on. We got one other big announcement, or not like big announcement, but big news story before we wrap up with a few quicker ones. And Nintendo has done this Treehouse Live event after E3 for the last like several years, and it's really exciting. You get the big announcement, and then you kind of bring their Treehouse to the screen, and you get able to like see people interact with the games and cool interviews and all that sort of thing. But recently they've been doing some Treehouse Live events very randomly and just pop up out of nowhere. Like the other day when we got a Pikmin 3 Deluxe and a Hyrule Warriors Treehouse Live. Kind of just happened. We weren't expecting them at all. You can actually find them at live.nintendo.com or their YouTube channel if you missed them. They're right there for you guys to watch. But yeah, games that are coming out really soon, and they just kind of dived in and talked about them for a little bit, played the games for a little bit, and then also did surprise us with a Pikmin 3 Deluxe demo that was out. I've downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. I got the full game on Wii U, so I wasn't like super excited to play the demo necessarily. I played the game already, but it is really cool that your progress does move over to the final game, which like Barry said earlier, I think that'd be great if all demos did that. It'd be awesome. So if you're listening, game developers, if you make a demo, which you should make a demo, make sure that your progress and your save data moves over. But yeah, I've got to this point with both of these games. With Pikmin 3 Deluxe, like I know the game, I have it on Wii U already. No big surprise. I was not overly excited to watch them play that necessarily. Hyrule Warriors, I've seen enough, and I don't want to be spoiled anymore. So I didn't watch this Treehouse Live at all for two different reasons for both of those games. But yeah, did you guys watch it, and what did you think? So Greg, did you get a chance to watch either of these?
No, I actually didn't watch the Treehouse Live because I think at least on the last podcast I've already sworn off of any more of Age of Calamity stuff. I really want to go in there with like the cleanest build possible, so I've been trying to really even minimize like the news that I'm seeing because it's still kind of spoiling. Cause like, oh, this character is now in the game. I'm like, darn it, I didn't really want to know that right yet. So
yeah,
really trying to stay away from that. So as soon as I knew it was part of the stream, I was like, oh, definitely not gonna be watching it. And I mean, Pikmin is still on the list as a series I need to check out at some point because, hey, it's in Smash Brothers. Got to try it out eventually on the side. So, like,
yeah.
It's worked for other series. So
there you go.
So why not download the demo?
Yeah, I probably should download the demo because that'd be the greatest time to actually experience it without not having to buy the game. So
Right. Yeah, Barry, did you get a chance to watch these? I know you played the demo, so yeah. And also, what'd you think of the demo?
Yeah. So I put it on my phone while I was playing. I think I was just grinding in Star Ocean when it came on, and I was like half paying attention. They started with Pikmin. I turned it off, like partway through. I ate lunch, and like, all right, let me put it on just to see, like, because I really wasn't jazzed. Like same thing. Hyrule Warriors, I've seen enough, and Pikmin 3, I have it on Wii U. I never played it, but it wasn't super exciting. But I put it back on, and they're still playing. I'm like, oh my god, they're still on Pikmin 3. And of course the chat's like, oh no, not another game of bingo battle. Oh, like Hyrule Warriors. Oh my god. So it looked good, and then when they announced the demo, I'm like, all right, I'll give the demo a shot. And then they did Hyrule Warriors, which looks fantastic, and just I don't really want to spoil anything because they showed one thing is the map, which if you play the original Hyrule Warriors, you know the map. Like they did like the original Zelda 1 map was there, and they had Termina there, and all these past Zelda games. And this is the Breath of the Wild map. I mean, they used it for different locations. Naturally, and that's not much of a spoiler, but just to see the map again and the size of the map and it being utilized, like this is going to be a big game. It's going to be a lot bigger than I think people expect. Has me super excited. They showed off couple gameplay, couple characters, and young Impa was the final one they showed off. And I love her style. It's that ninja fast dagger style. One thing, I only played Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. So they made a change in the 3DS version that carried over to the Switch. And that was the ability to change characters mid-map. you can, someone's on the other side, I can quickly switch to there and help them out. Couldn't do that in the Wii U version. So they were doing that, and I was like, wow, that's so fluid. That's so nice.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that feature. But I thought it was a good presentation. Pikmin ran a little long, but they definitely knew what they were doing. They did that first, and then Hyrule Warriors was a much shorter section. I'm happy they did it. Definitely give some attention to your holiday titles. But then, I did the demo. The demo was, at least for me, it took 3 days. It ended after the first boss. So I did it in 3 days. I'm sure if you know the game, you might be able to do it in 2. But it was fun. I started off without motion control and actually put motion control on because it uses the left analog stick for your pointer. But if you just move it a little bit, you're moving the pointer and not your character. So you have to hold it down to also run, and I don't like that. So I changed to motion. So you can still use the left stick to quickly hit like quick targets, but otherwise the motion worked really well. And you could also ZR to lock on, which was nice. I don't know if that was in the original game as well, but it worked, but it also didn't work at the same time. Like if there's 2 like flowers next to each other with like the Pikmin seeds, like you lock onto one and you're trying to lock on the other, and it's like a pain in the butt.
Yep. As you're describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, the demo's good. It's short, it's sweet, and definitely like it unlocks some stuff to the real game, and I'm happy about that. I like that the save transfer over. I'm gonna be getting it. Am I gonna be playing it? Probably not this year, because unfortunately it comes out the 30th, and the 27th is Cold Steel 4, and I'm probably not gonna have much time between Cold Steel 4 and Hyrule Warriors, so Pikmin 3 will sit on the shelf, and whenever I'm ready, I'll transfer over. But at least I played the demo, and I did enjoy that. And I do recommend giving the demo a shot if you're even remotely interested in the game, because if you like it, it carries over.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and those games it's not going to be too long, right? You guys know the release dates off the top of your head? I'm totally blanking.
October 30th and November 20th.
Okay, so yeah, not too long at all. Just a couple other quick stories before we start to wrap up tonight. Did want to acknowledge we mentioned this, I think last episode. It was like the day before Jump Rope Challenge went, but officially it is actually extended indefinitely. So that's one of those games that we talked about being only on there for a short amount of time, and now it's changed. So who knows? For the future of Super Mario Brothers 35 may find the same deal with that one too. Also, we got news just today that Level 5 is actually pulling out of their North American operations. They had already kind of went down to like a skeleton crew. But they've kind of pulled back to not be in North America anymore, or the West entirely, and so it's kind of we don't know if they've like completely given up on that, but that's kind of the state of that game company. And if you don't know, Level 5, mostly best known for like the Professor Layton series. They've done some other things as well, but I think a lot of people know them for Layton. And also, a couple other quick things. One thing is that if you've not ever tried Nintendo Switch online service, you can actually get free 7-day trial of it right now. You don't have to use any Nintendo coins or anything like that. Just kind of cash in a 7-day trial of Nintendo Online service, which is really cool. And then Barry, I know there was a possible cancellation of Indivisible. Did you get any updates on that at all?
It's really up in the air at this point. Apparently something happened at Lab Zero with the owner of Lab Zero, and I don't know all the details. But the team left Lab Zero and now has a new team. So since they are the makers of Indivisible, 505, the publisher, has stated that outside of the update to the Switch, which has been pushed to Nintendo, which will bring the Switch version to exactly the same point as all the other versions, there will be no further updates to the game. It is done. And they actually stated that the physical version for Switch, which was supposed to come out next month, is canceled in America. It came out physically in Europe and in Japan, but then they updated saying, well, there might be some out there, which means they might do one print run. I don't know if it's going to be a different case or not, but it's kind of interesting for them to retract that. So select retailers might have stock, might not, but it's sad to see a development studio just go down like that. And there was and that was a Kickstarter game, so there was a lot of stuff that was promised that is now not going to fruition. The game is unfortunately dead. It's a fun game from everything I've heard, but yeah, if you're interested on the Switch, you can still get it digitally, and if you want a physical, you pre-order and hope you get a copy come this November. Otherwise, you could always import the European. Now, what's interesting is for the Kickstarter backers, and I was a Kickstarter backer, if you got the collector's edition through Kickstarter, they sent it to us already. It comes in the collector's tin, but inside is a North American case for the game, the ESRB everything, but inside is a European game. They actually didn't give us a North American copy of the game. And a lot of people said, why? And they said, this way it goes out the same time all over the place. But it's kind of like a bait and switch. Like, here's an American copy. No, it's not. So if this game actually doesn't come out, that is the closest to an official North American release we're going to get, at least physically. But it's sad to see something like this go down.
Yeah. I think it's it's really sad, seeing some of the things like this, like them in level 5 and stuff like that. And, it's unfortunate, some game companies are heading that direction, and, who knows, with COVID and everything else continuing, who knows what kind of impacts that's going to have on the overall gaming industry. I know for a while they were thriving because a lot more people were playing video games, but the long-term impact is going to be really interesting, as it is with a lot of different industries, the further we get into this. So, but that's bad news. Let's move on to good news. We have a lot of games coming out this next week, and that's what I said, this next week, because we're going to be back again in just 1 week, guys. But there's a lot of games coming out in just 1 week.
There's a lot that came out today.
That is very true.
Like eight games came in the mail today.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. There's so many. So if you're watching the video version, I am just scrolling through the games. A ton are coming out on October 8th alone. Like a ton are coming
8th, it's past the 8th.
Or sorry, I did say 8th. A ton came out on October 8th. But yeah, very true. I'm scrolling up here. There we go. October 13th, like there was a ton. October 14th, there's a ton. Prinny 1 and 2. I know a lot of people are excited about that one. Remothered Broken Porcelain came out today as well. Shantae, Risky's Revenge, is getting like its 17th release or something like that. I don't know. But that director's cut is coming out on October 15th. Roki, or however you pronounce that was featured on a recent Indies showcase or something like that. That's coming out. Jackbox Party Pack 7 is coming out on October 15th. Cloudpunk's coming out that day. So yeah, the 15th is really a huge day. As well, I'm not remembering correctly, or I am remembering correctly that Mario Kart Live home edition or home tour is also this week too. So on top of all these games that are coming out, Zoid's Wild Blast Unleashed is coming out. Just a ton of games over this next week. So what are you guys excited about playing, or are you going to find yourself kind of going back to those games that you've already been playing to finish up to get ready for like Pikmin and Hyrule Warriors and stuff like that? Barry, what about you?
A ton of great games coming out. Like I said, I got a crap ton of them today, and I will probably not be playing any of them anytime soon. I know the Prinny games are. I enjoyed the first one on PSP, but it's too close to Cold Steel at this point. I have to make sure I'm ready, so I'm gonna just focus on trying to work through Squadrons, finishing Galaxy. And I might look for another game quickly, like something I can make sure I'm done by the 27th. But it's great to see so many titles coming out. I mean, there's just so many, and I was shocked when like all these games came out. Another one that didn't come out in America for some reason, but it did come out in Europe, which I can actually hear my wife playing it right now. Is Let's Sing Queen came out in Europe, and didn't get it here, but region free. So, you know, it's weird. Why don't we karaoke games? I guess just don't work in America for some reason.
Yeah, I guess so. That's really cool. I didn't realize they were doing a Queen version, so that's awesome.
It's like 30 Queen songs, and
Nice.
it's all the music videos, and you sing along to it. It comes with a microphone, and you could import it from Europe, and it's all in English. The whole menus, everything's in English. You know, the songs, obviously. So it's kind of funny. Like, why don't we get this here? Oh, well, at least we can import it, so at least it's playable.
Nice.
If you like Queen, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, that's really cool. We need to have you do a gameplay video for our channel sometime.
Oh no, you don't want me singing. Trust me, that will get us. We'll lose subscribers.
Greg, what do you be up to the next couple weeks, or actually just the next week? I keep forgetting. We're just back next week.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be mostly more of the same because my daughter's just so infatuated with some of these older games, like the older Mario games. So it's probably gonna be mostly around that, and then just continuing on with like Animal Crossing and stuff. Nothing was really standing out to get this time. I mean, I did get a random contact from somebody to see for Mario Kart Home Circuit, so I was like, hey, I'll take a review copy if any available. So like they said, I was put on a list, so I don't know if I'll actually get it, but probably not. But
Hey, they did say it works on carpets now.
Very
yeah,
nice.
I was kind of surprised about that, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, hey, maybe I actually could try it out. That'd be pretty cool, and I know my daughter would absolutely love playing Mario Kart like in the house. So
That's really cool. Yeah, for me, or actually, I'll go to Jakester first in the chat. He says that he's hoping to get back to a lot of his Switch RPGs this next week, yeah, he's excited about. He'd never heard of Indivisible as well, so that's cool. So I'll be playing. I'm excited about Jackbox Party Pack 7 coming out, and then I'll be getting the Mario edition of Mario Kart Live. But Walmart canceled my Luigi one, and I'm not too happy about that. So I was on the fence if I was going to keep both of them anyway, because I don't need two copies of the game. I just wanted both Mario Kart things. So
Well, if you give one to your wife for her Switch, because you need two copies and you can race against each other.
we could, but that is another $100. So I was like mixed feelings that they canceled it. Like I was bummed because they canceled it. I'm so glad I had a Mario one. But at the same time, I'm like, well, that's $100 I can save as well. So yeah, not too bent out of shape about it. But I was upsetting that I woke up to an email one day and was like, what do you mean, Walmart? You're canceling my pre-order. You took it, keep it.
exactly.
Oh,
Just don't order those new amiibos from there then if they're just canceled.
Yeah, I guess not. But that brings us to the end of episode 208. I just want to remind you guys once again to follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look us up at NintendoFuse. And you can also join our Discord if you haven't done so yet. We would love to keep the conversation going on Discord. You can also follow all of us on Twitter. Our individual Twitter handles are on the screen right now, at Steve Cullum, at Hawk Hellfire, and at GamerGD3 as well. We would love for you guys to do that and just keep this conversation going. Brings us to the end of episode 208. We're going to be back next week with episode 209. Barry, anything to say as we close out today? Anything you want to share with our viewers or listeners out there?
Well, maybe there'll be another industry talk going live whenever you get that around to that. That one was recorded a little while ago at this point. But no, I honestly don't have anything, in the works other than, doing the playcast later in the week. Just that industry talk whenever it goes live. And otherwise,
Soon.
I'm just going to be focusing on gaming, and then, chat with me on Twitter if you want.
Cool. Greg, any parting thoughts before we wrap up?
Nope, just great talking games with you guys, and I know we kind of skipped over the Amiibo news from Smash Brothers, but that was pretty good. Looking forward to those. Not until next year. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
fall 2021 or something like that. Like it's really next year.
Yeah, that is true. We totally forgot about that, but yeah, weird for sure. But like I have to wait that long, and not being able to get player 2 for that. Yeah, it COVID. COVID. All right. Anyway. Well, like I said, that brings us to the end of episode 208. Thank you guys so much for being here with us again. We'll be back next week with another episode. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell on YouTube, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app of choice. And we'll see you next week. Happy gaming, everybody.